Hi, I'm Dionysios, the owner of BuyCompanyName.com. Today we will explain how web hosting works. You probably want to start a website and you find out that you need a domain name and hosting. So what is hosting and how actually works? Web hosting is the actual storage provided for a website to be available online. A website is just a collection of files such as images, videos, text, and the necessary code that explains to our browser how it should present all this data. The files of the website are stored in servers, which are just a type of computer. These computers have the right software installed and they are optimized only for this job. Web hosting providers usually keep these servers in places that we call data centers. Websites should be available all day and night. Web hosting providers have created those data centers in such a way that servers have access to high-speed internet. The data center's environment is also set in the right temperature and humidity to avoid as much as possible hardware fails. You as a consumer, you rent the space on these servers. Web hosting provider's job is to ensure that the servers will work correctly and your site will be online. They hire the necessary staff and they take care of the software updates or any other sort of maintenance. One question you might have is why not to use your own PC to host your website for free? Typically you can do it, but there are some concerns. Firstly, you need to keep your PC open 24 hours per day, otherwise your site will not be available. Secondly, when you face some power cut or any hardware issue, your site will not work too. Lastly, there are security concerns if your computer hosts a website, since hackers can exploit weaknesses and get more easily access to your PC. Okay, before we continue, let's explain here briefly what a domain is and how it is related to hosting. The domain name just points to the server a website is stored. Then your browser tries to connect to that server by using the domain name system. Domain name system is just the process of finding where a domain name points to. In technical terms, your domain name points to an IP address, the server's online address. From your domain name settings, you can actually change who is your host provider. By changing name servers, you can tell the whole internet where your website files are located. The name servers look like that usually. That way, the whole internet knows that a specific hosting company is responsible for your website and their name servers point to the specific IP server that your website is stored. Web hosting industry use some terms you need to know. Bandwidth is the maximum amount of data that can be transferred between a website visitor's device and your website server within a certain time frame. For example, if your site size is 50 kilobytes and 3 people visit them during 1 month, then your site has consumed 150 kilobytes. Keep in mind that big videos or images make your website larger in size, so they consume more bandwidth. Uptime. This is the time in percentage where your site is online and working. Sometimes the servers that store your site need maintenance or an unexpected problem that happens and they stop working. Most of the hosting providers promise 99.9% uptime. cPanel. It is just the interface you see when you log in with your hosting provider. SSL. A certification that the connection between your website and online visitors is secure. Sites that use HTTPS at the start of a URL, they have an SSL certificate. CDN. Many hosting providers are cooperating with CDN providers. The most well-known provider is Cloudflare. A CDN, Content Delivery Network, speeds up and protects your site from downtime. A network of servers keeps a copy of your regular website. Then, depending from your visitor's location, the closest server connects with your visitor's online device. Let's see the most common types of web hosting. Shared hosting. Your site is stored in the same server with other websites. It shares resources such as bandwidth, RAM and storage. This is the cheapest option available for someone who wants to start a website. Other site issues or traffic spikes can affect the performance of your site too. VPS hosting is always more expensive than shared hosting. Your site is in the same server with other websites, but it has dedicated resources. That means you have a part of the server capabilities like CPU, RAM, etc., and you don't share with other sites. Hosting providers use a special type of software and they create many virtual servers in one physical server. These virtual servers are considered separate computers, and as I said, they use some part of the resources the physical server has. Dedicated hosting. This is the most expensive type of hosting. Your site is stored in a server that you are the only user. All the resources are dedicated to your site's activity. You can manage the server as you please. You can install the software you prefer and any adjustment you might want. For cloud hosting, a collection of different servers store your website. Even if one fails, the others contain a copy of your website and they can serve your online visitors. In many cases, you pay only for the resources you consume, and this is a great advantage. If some sudden traffic spike happens, you will just pay for the resources needed to use. WordPress hosting is just a type of hosting that focuses on how to perform better for the WordPress content management system. For example, they can offer multiple free WordPress themes, specific solutions for making your WordPress website faster, additional tools for performing better on search engines. For those that don't know, WordPress is the most popular software for building websites even without coding. More than 1/3 of sites use this software because it is an easier way to create a website. WordPress hosting means usually, but not always, shared hosting, meaning your site is stored in a server with other sites. Reseller hosting is a form of web hosting where someone can purchase a plan from a web hosting provider at wholesale price and manage other people's websites. The clients interact with the reseller and not with the hosting provider directly. The reseller can brand himself usually as a different company not associated with the original hosting provider. Let's see now how much you expect to pay for each of the previous plans. For share hosting, expect to pay from $2 to $20 per month. For VPS hosting, expect to pay from $4 to $150 per month. The price depends on what resources your virtual private server will use and how much technical assistance you need from your hosting provider. For dedicated hosting, expect to pay from $80 to $600 per month. The same approach here as VPS hosting applies. If you need a lot of resources and technical assistance to manage that server, then you will pay more. For cloud hosting, expect to pay from $10 to $280. For WordPress hosting, expect to pay from $5 to $300. It really depends if your WordPress site is stored in shared server or a dedicated one. It also depends on the overall features and the technical support you get. Important note: all the popular web hosting providers promote their annual subscriptions, meaning they offer a good discount if you prepare annually instead of monthly. These discounts can be from 30 to 90%. If you want to start a website with a quality host provider and a free domain for the first year, check my post link that you will find in the description or the first comment of this video. I really appreciate if you subscribe and like this video. I will keep adding more helpful content like that. Please leave a comment on the topic that you want for me to create a video for. Bye!